You know what? There aren't enough educated, progressive black male voices. No politically correct bullshit. I'm just one guy with a valuable opinion, bringing you the real, for real. It's been a minute, and the reason why is because I had the monkeypox. I'm sure you've all read the YouTube, title, or have seen the title on the podcast on Apple or Spotify. But it took me a while to even want to make this video because that's personal. That's a personal thing that happened to me. I never even had COVID. And so for me to get monkeypox, it was just like, do I really want to talk about this? And the reason why I eventually, because I had it a month ago, the reason why I eventually, to September now, the reason why I eventually decided to talk about it was because it was bigger than me. I saw that there was either no Black people or not enough people of color talking about this. And there's a lot of misinformation out here, a lot of propaganda, which really is just manipulation within the media to control, really. And I thought to myself, I had a duty to share my experience with this. So this episode of the Real for Real podcast will be dedicated to my experience with the monkeypox. And I'm just gonna go over basically what I remember from the day to day, from when I realized it to full recovery, which currently I am in full recovery, and I have been now for a few weeks. But that's what's been new with me. So let's get into the first segment. This is the real for real. Before I begin with the full story of my monkeypox experience, I do want to say something, and I prayed about this for a while, like years, and then recently, I'm gonna put my Cash App up. And the reason why is because when you need help, ask for help. I service my community on a daily basis, and 9 times out of 10 it's for free. I promote positivity in our community. I do what I can to make sure that we have what we need. And I was out of work for an entire month because I was contagious and I couldn't go anywhere or do anything. And it literally set me back. Christina,
So I've heard.
I didn't know it was going to do that much, but one little month just really set me back. And so if you can donate, if you can give, please use $TheBLACKMedia on Cash App and give what you can. I really need your help. Having the monkeypox put me out of work, and for those of you who know, I'm an entrepreneur. I own my own studio, and I'm a filmmaker and photographer, which is a very contact kind of job. So I wasn't able to shoot, I wasn't able to film, I wasn't able to network, I wasn't able to do anything that I usually do to, keep me okay. And I just need help. So if you can, donate, and I would be so grateful. This is my experience with the monkeypox, okay? Because I know that I had it now, I can say to you with confidence that early signs of me having the monkeypox was late July. Now, that's significant because during that time, I had switched my regiment. Oh, but before that, I want to share with you all that I was born sick. My lungs collapsed when my mother gave birth. They took me away. My mother and my father said they couldn't see me for 2 weeks. They didn't know if I was going to survive. And then when they gave me to my parents, the doctor said, you're going to have a sick child growing up. And I was very sick. I should have been in a bubble. I was always in a hospital. I was always getting vaccinated or getting a shot or a pill or this or that all the time. And so I know my body. I know when I get sick. I know how long I'll be sick. I've dealt with this my entire life, really. So here it is, late July. I don't know the exact date, but late July, I started doing this thing because, as y'all can see, the hair is, listen, if you're not watching this on youtube.com/TheBLACKMedia, you should. The hair is hairing, right? That's because, thank you, Christina. That's because I started wearing a bonnet. Now, I know for y'all, a lot of my viewers are women. You like, child, I thought you was about to say something revolutionary. But I'm a man. I ain't wearing no bonnet. I wasn't going to wear one. But I remember my mother gave me one. She was like, wear this. And I never did. So one day I was tired of my hair out of the shower because I clean my hair every day. I was tired of it getting wet and dripping on me. I know that's silly, but I was like, what can I do? And I was like, oh yeah, my mother gave me that bonnet. So one day I put it in a bonnet after putting my conditioner, my leave-in, and my jojoba oil in my hair right after the shower, which is my daily routine. I put it in a bonnet. And then I ordered some groceries, and when I went downstairs to go get it, because I ain't walking out the house with no bonnet on, I snatched the bonnet off. And when I snatched that bonnet off, that hair came cascading down. I silky smooth. I said, is this why women be wearing bonnets and shit? I said, oh shit, right? So I started wearing a bonnet. But this is the thing. My hair would be drenched, soaking wet in that bonnet. And this was late July that I started doing this. So I was going to sleep. And even though my central air is bomb, I would sometimes cut my overhead fan on because I'm a big dude and I need to be chilly to go to sleep. I can't be up in this bed baking biscuits while I'm trying to sleep. So the first day that I woke up with a fever, late July, I brushed it off as my hair is wet. I shouldn't have done that. I know better because I get sick easily, to give you the history. And so I was like, ugh, how did I wake up with a fever? Ugh. Then I looked at the fan was on. I touched my hair, my head was still wet. I said, well, I need to stop doing that. And of course I shower at night too, and I put the bonnet on, whatever. So before you know it, it's August 1st. And that was when I started the journey that's when I started documenting. And I want to be clear, I've been documenting my sick days and my sicknesses for a long time. So I wasn't doing it because I thought I had monkeypox. I was doing it because I thought the weather's changing. I'm about to get sick again. Let me document it to see like how long this is going to take. So that's why I was doing it. So August 1st, I remember I wrote it down, woke up with a fever. I was like, oh, I'm about to get sick. The weather changing. Every time the weather changes, I get sick. So I'm like, all right, cool. Now that's significant because my mother's birthday is August 3rd. And we had planned for her to come stay with me, and we were going to do like a sleepover. Yes, I do sleepovers with my mother, and
I'm wrong with it.
Right, judge your mother. Judge yourself. I love my mom. And so I was like, okay, she's going to come, and hopefully she can take care of me because I feel like a fever's going to come. So whatever, I didn't think nothing of it. August 1st is when we'll start with the monkeypox journey. And so August 1st, woke up with a fever. Didn't think nothing of it, like I said, because of the bonnet thing. I had kept doing it, stupid. Let me say something. Sometimes I can be real dumb, just keep doing the same things. Now I knew better. In my head, at least, I thought that's what it was. Turns out it wasn't, but I thought that, and still, that fan was still on. Mind you, I ain't dust that bitch since I moved in here 2 years ago. So I was like, that's definitely why. But, so I just brushed it off as like, that's a fever, a head cold or some shit like that. I go about my day, whatever like that. Now, yo, what's so funny is I had been calling to get the monkeypox vaccine. But because they didn't have one open and available in Fulton County, my mother lived in DeKalb. So I was like, let me just use her address. They wouldn't even know. And I applied to go get the monkeypox vaccine. But after I applied, they was like, you don't qualify. I was like, what the hell? Now, as you know, or maybe you don't know, but at the time, I'm not sure if it's changed drastically now, but at the time, it was like you had to be like hyperly sexually active. You had to be like you had to be a man who sleeps with men, and you had to be like you had to have a lot of sex. And I was like, answering the questions like, no, whatever. And it was like, you don't qualify for this. And I didn't understand that. When I did more research, it was because they didn't have enough to give out to everyone at the time because of some mishap. So they could only give to people who needed it the most. So I was like, all right, fine, whatever, I'll wait, right? I was like, I'll just wait. August 2nd gets here, my mother comes. And I didn't think nothing of it. I greet my mom, go downstairs, get her. Like, Mom, we're going to have fun or whatever. I planned to cook her some food, which I did. Planned to bake her a cake from scratch, which I did. Sickening lemon cake. Whoa, with the lemon buttercream. Not buttercream, lemon cream cheese frosting. My God. So I had all these plans with my mom and was accomplishing these plans. And I told her, I woke up with a fever. She was like, all right, take some Tylenol. Because she knows I get sick all the time. So she's just like, take a Tylenol. And I did, took a Tylenol, knocked that fever out, never felt anything. That was August 2nd. August 3rd, I woke up with another fever. Now, I've been sick for a very long time, my entire life, off and on. I've never woken up 3 days in a row with it. First of all, I've never woken up with a fever. Let's start there. Second of all, unless I was already, I've never woken up to a fever unless I had a fever and then had the fever already when I went to sleep. But just to wake up and have a fever, I've never done that. So that was new. And two, never 3 days in a row or more, because obviously it started the end of July and I just didn't pay attention to it. But August 1st was that first documentation. So at least I know for a fact 3 whole days in a row, I woke up with the fever. So I didn't think nothing of it. Got in the shower and was cleaning myself. And I'm a thick dude, it's real thick over here. So it was I get ingrown hairs all the time. And so on my thigh, I had a bump there and it was I thought it was an ingrown hair. I was like, I'm getting another ingrown hair. Cleaned myself, whatever. I had a fever. Took some Tylenol and knocked it out. Used the bathroom. August 3rd, woke up, which, by the way, is my mother's birthday. And, used the bathroom, got back in the bed, because I usually wake up early in the morning. For whatever reason, my body just gets up. I go use the bathroom, whatever, and I go back in bed. A few hours later, use the bathroom again. The second time that I went to go use the bathroom, that was when I noticed that there were several lesions on my inner thighs, on my upper inner thighs. Now, like I said, I get ingrown hairs, but I ain't stupid. I said, I ain't never get more than one ingrown hair. Now, it's usually just one in one particular, it's funny because my right leg is the only leg that actually grows ingrown hair. So I was like, I never had an ingrown hair over here and over here and over here. And I just sat down for a second in my bathroom and just said, oh my gosh, I hope I did not pass this to my mother. That was the first thing I thought. I did not know I had it. I brushed it off as a fever blister. An ingrown hair, a fever from my wet hair. I didn't put 2 and 2 together because I'm not the kind of person who leaves my house. You know what I'm saying? I'm not that sexually active. So it's I just didn't think that I never even had COVID. I didn't even have the antibodies in my system before I got the vaccine. I am a pretty cautious person, so that was just very interesting to me. I didn't put 2 and 2 together. But when I noticed more than one bump or lesion, I knew that that's what it was. And it was my mother's birthday. She was here with me, so I told her, I said, Mom, it's your choice, but I really do think I have monkeypox, and I'm not sure yet. I need to confirm it before, we start acting crazy, because it could be some weird ingrown hair thing, which I was secretly hoping for. And it was not. But she was like, I don't think you have it. You're fine. And I'm not going anywhere because you're going to need somebody to help you, whatever. And I was like, that's all noble and nice, but you need to get out, because what if I do, and then I'm going to pass it to you? My mother was being completely unreasonable, and she would not leave. And so, I don't argue with nobody, so I wasn't about to sit there and argue with my mom. That's crazy. So I just let her stay. And just dealt with it. Now, this is still August 3rd. We celebrate her birthday. I baked the cake, not thinking anything of it. Like I said, I didn't even really know, but I just told her I thought I had it. And we had a great birthday, really. I made some pasta from scratch. Oh my gosh, it was so delicious. And then the cake, of course, we was in that bed. It was such a great day. August 4th came, and I woke up to a call from an epidemiologist in DeKalb County. Hi, I'm calling because I was backlogged, and I'm just calling all the numbers who called here. Were you calling about, a vaccine? The funny thing is I was calling about it. Remember? I was calling about a vaccine. Now here it is. I think I got it. And I was on the phone with her, and I was like, yo, thank you for getting back to me, but I really think I have monkeypox. Actually now, before I was calling for a vaccine, but I think I have it. She was like, don't worry, don't stress. It could be a million other things. You just, don't panic and all this kind of thing. I said, sweetie, I've grown up in a hospital. I know better. I know when I get sick, I know what kind of sicknesses I get. This is monkeypox. And then she was like, okay, so describe your situation to me. And I described it to her fully. And she was like, okay. without a test, she's like, even without a test, it sounds like you do have monkeypox. I said, okay, so what are the next steps? What do we do? And I was like, I also had to tell her, I was like, also, I don't stay in DeKalb County. She was like, oh, okay. I said, I tried looking for a number for Fulton County. I could not find one. She was like, that's because there is not one right now. They're still trying, they're backlogged. We're all pulling this together. She was like, it's over 1,000 people that's been calling in and trying to come get a vaccine and showing up. And she's like, we're really, really, really understaffed for this because we didn't expect this to ever happen. So she was like, she's like, okay, let me reach out to somebody in Fulton County so that you can get some services there because obviously you don't live here. She wasn't denying me service. She just was like, no, you need to go to your county. And I was like, okay, cool. She was like, but from what you're telling me, you do have monkeypox. And she was like, I'm going to send you a form that teaches you how to isolate yourself or whatever, what to do. I said, I already saw it. I already read it and I have it on my phone. She was like, oh, okay, great. And she was like, I will say this. Because we're so backlogged and everything, she was like, it might take a week for them to get back to you. I said, a week? Ma'am. Okay, fine. But I own a news outlet called TheBLACKMedia. And I had already did a post about monkeypox before I even knew I had it. It was the craziest thing. I had just did that post and then I found that I had it. I was like, oh my goodness. I said, I want to be able to give them the correct information. So if you could, on the phone with me, let me know if what I said was true. And then also what resources. She was like, thank you for doing that. She was like, you have no idea how hard it is to advertise that we're here. Mm. So the fact that you were able to do that is so beautiful. So I did. I went back, changed a few things. Even though most of the information I said was correct, I just changed a few wordings and, updated the post, which received thousands of views. And then she was like, I'm going to try to get somebody to call you. She was like, but it's probably going to take like a week, okay? I said, okay. I was like, understanding the timeline, she was like, understanding your timeline, if by the time somebody called you, you'll be in your second week. So she was like, the lesions should be healing and falling off by that time. So you just want to isolate yourself. I said, okay, cool. God came through, and an hour later, a woman from Fulton County called me. And both of them were Black women, by the way. How dope is that? Black epidemiologists. Mm-hmm. And she was like, I heard about your case. And she was like, we just want to get you tested right away. Okay. So the test center is right here. I said, okay, I live super close there. She was like, fantastic. But I will say this, you're going to have to show up at 7:00 when they open because there are thousands of people showing up there and you might have to stand in line. I said, what am I doing this for? Am I doing this for a vaccine or for like some medicine to like heal me? She was like, oh no, there's none of that. She was like, there's probably no vaccines available and you won't be getting it there. This is for just testing only. I said, why would I be testing myself if I already know I have it? She was like, well, a test is a greater confirmation. She was like, you probably do have it from what I see. Because I had pictures too. I had to like take pictures, which I did. I already started doing that. I was taking pictures. This is only August 4th. I was taking pictures on the 3rd. Once I saw that I had it, I started taking pictures. And the 4th, I took another picture and it was completely different. So, I was telling her about the pictures or whatever. And she was like, okay, from what I know, you have it. She was like, so if you just go there and get this diagnosis, then you'll just know. I was like, okay, fine. She said, okay, so you can just drive there. I said, I don't drive. And that's when things got complicated. She said, okay, well, are you able to walk there? I said, I'm contagious. You want me to go outside and walk? Because I can't get into a lift. And so she was like, I don't know what to do here. Let me call the state or something, she said. And she was like, I'll get back to you. It's probably going to take a week so I can see what to do with this. But for now, just isolate. I said, okay, cool. Because I didn't want to pass it to anybody. I don't drive. And I definitely didn't want to be outside walking. Ain't no heat. Also, where the lesions were up in my inner thigh, which if you go to TheBLACKMedia.org, right now, you can read the article and see some of the photos that I'll have available to you, and so that you can see for research purposes and calm yourself. Because there's a lot of propaganda around it. There's a lot of misinformation around it. I just wanted to share my story so that you have calm and ease. Because I had a very mild case of monkeypox as opposed to a lot of other people's stories where they've used words like excruciating pain and kind of things like that. I'm going to get to that later, but I had a mild case. And 2 different epidemiologists, they didn't necessarily know each other, but they basically were saying the same things, which was the cases that they've been receiving, they've all been a milder experiences. People have been saying milder experiences, and it's been lasting 1 to 2 weeks instead of 2 to 4 weeks. And even though that's not an, exact number, that's just the cases that they were seeing. And in my case, it was similar to that. But once I realized on August 4th that this was monkeypox, I canceled photo shoots. I just really isolated. I didn't know what to do, really. And an hour later, that epidemiologist, the second epidemiologist, she called me back and said the state called her and said, if my fever has broken, that I can travel and I won't be contagious unless someone actually touches the lesion itself. And because of where my lesions were located, which was in my inner thighs, I wasn't a threat to society. Because obviously somebody would have to be all up in my thighs, to have gotten it from me. And I said, okay, my fever broke. I woke up today without a fever. She was like, okay, great. If that continues, and it was like during the weekend. So she was like, if that continues, then on Monday, you can go and get the diagnoses. I said, perfect. Hung up the phone with her. God bless her. God bless all of those people who are working diligently. And then August 5th gets here. Woke up with a fever. Matter of fact, August 4th, that night, I went to sleep with a fever. And it was excruciating. It wasn't excruciating. It was just really, it was like a really bad fever. I was delirious, and I was like, oh my, I couldn't even go to sleep. It was like really crazy. And I couldn't believe it. But then it just went away. Before I even took a pill, it went away. It was interesting. It was like high fever, and then it would just go away. So here it is. That happened August 4th, like 12 o'clock in the morning. So August 5th, technically. And then woke up without a fever. Interesting. But then I had a lesion grow on my finger, on my inner finger here. And that's when I said, Mom, you have to go. Because it's one thing for me to have them on my thighs and you really can't catch it. Plus, we weren't sleeping in the same bed. We weren't hugging. We weren't touching. So she was fine. And I'm happy to report my mother never got monkeypox, by the way. It's been way past her incubation period, because there's an incubation period. It's a 1 to 2 week incubation period. Then after that, you get lesions and the sicknesses. She's fine. It's been more than enough time. She's good. But once it grew on my finger, I just was like, Mom, you got to go. So she was like, all right, I'll go home tomorrow. So I was like, fine. So of course, we were wiping everything down. To know me is to know that I already had masks, Lysols, wipes, gloves. I had all this stuff for years, even before COVID, because I grew up sick. And so I had all this stuff readily available. So when we were like using the bathroom after each other, even though I have 2 bathrooms in my house, God, thank you. We would sometimes pass or touch the same, we were disinfecting everything so she didn't get it. You know what I'm saying? We were very, very cautious. And I didn't want to keep that up. Not to mention, I had them on my inner thighs. It was starting to really hurt because they were getting bigger and bigger. And I was just like, Mom, could you please go home? Just please. Get out. So when she said she'll go home tomorrow, I was like, okay, good. So that night, we just, we chilled in the house. We watched TV, whatever. And I just was incredibly exhausted. It felt like an elephant was sitting on my chest. I have never been that exhausted before. I felt like I took a sleeping pill. I was like, what in the world? And then it would go away. It was the strangest thing. It would be like fever, and then it'll go away. And then it'll be like exhaustion, and then it'll go away. And then it'll be like deliriousness, and then it'll go away. Now, this is just my experience. And that day, when I found out that I had, when I found out I had the one on my finger, on my inner finger, it was a very small one on my inner finger. When I told her, I started wearing gloves. So now I'm walking around the house with gloves on, and I'm just like, Mom, please go home. The next day, she went home, and I was able to bust it open. Spread eagle. To let this thing air out, dry out, whatever. because and I like, again, I'm blessed because it could have been on my face. It could have been on my arms. It could have been somewhere where people saw it. But for whatever reason, it was oddly placed on my inner thighs and then grew on my finger. It was very interesting. Day 6 was interesting because that was when I started to have muscle aches, head to toe, and become tired and just like couldn't do anything really, couldn't even really stand up in a shower. And that was scary because I felt like, what could I do? I do want to mention though, I think the same day that I spoke to the epidemiologist, so I think it was day 5, I think, or 4, I called a friend because I had to tell him I got paid for some work that I didn't do yet. I had to tell him I had monkeypox. I had to tell several people. Clients. I had clients. And 2 people already paid me a lot of money. And I already spent that money. So I was like, I had to call them and tell them. And when I called Darian, if you remember him from episode 8, and told him that I had monkeypox, this man brought me 2 cases of water and 2 big things of Tylenol. Thank you, Darian. Because he could have been nasty, like I've experienced already with some people. But he wasn't. Thank you. He didn't make me feel ostracized or weird. He just understood that it was something that I had and helped, offered his help. So here it is, like I said, day 6, exhaustion, pain, but not excruciating pain, just pain. It felt like if one cold was too much, like a bad thing, it felt like 2 colds, if that makes sense. And I just kind of just laid in my bed. I really couldn't move. I really couldn't do anything. So I had to call and cancel a few things. But it was just one thing I couldn't cancel because it was like the last part of the job, and I needed money because I was running out of money. I was running up my reserve because I'm not working. I'm not out here, and I had to buy certain things. And I needed to work. So I called Darian, like, listen, I know you said that if I do this last part, I would get this much money. I'm gonna try to do it on Friday, but I got monkeypox, and it's gonna take me some time. But he allowed me to do that, and I was able to do it, which, by the way, took everything out of me. So for the next couple of days, I just was exhausted and hurting, like having like pain, like thumping pain where the lesions were, because I had overexerted myself to finish this photo shoot, which was product photography that I was doing. So I didn't need to be with a person. But I got it done because I needed that money. Toward the middle of week 2, as the CDC said, as everyone was saying, the lesions, the bumps on my inner thighs, which were filled with pus, burst, and then started to fall off. But because of the area, it was of the damp area. I got thick thighs. It was a little moist down there. Mine looked a little different than what you might ordinarily see. It kind of looked like somebody shot me, and there was a hole in my leg. 7 times or something, like quite a few of them. I'll be more detailed in the article, but it was just a very jarring thing to look at and experience. Now, this is going into week 2, middle of week 2. My fever broke that Tuesday, which is why I never went to go get the test, because I still had a fever, and they said that I can only travel if my fever breaks. But by that Tuesday, they already started to fall off. I was told that once your lesions fall off and you see pink skin developing, then you're no longer contagious. I said, okay, my fever broke. The lesions are starting to fall. I don't need diagnosis. I already, I know. Plus, the epidemiologist told me to keep a picture log or whatever like that. And so she asked me to check in with her. I was comfortable with that diagnosis. And here it is. They're starting to heal. Now, this is where the pain and the itching started for me. Once they started to heal, my God, the pain, it was almost like I could feel my skin like healing back. Like I could feel it happening. And it just was like one of those things where I'm just like, okay. I was popping pills. Thank you, Darian. It was my pill pusher. I was popping those Tylenol because it was like, it wasn't like excruciating, but it was like annoying. It felt like a tattoo, I suppose. I've never gotten one, but I would imagine this incessant, annoying feeling. And then there was some pain, some throbbing, because one of my monkeypox lesions was deep on my inner thigh. It felt like it was on a bone. So there was some throbbing there. That was not fun because I could barely walk. And like I said, once they start healing or whatever, it's like your flesh is being ripped off and then being healed on its own. And it was hard. It was hard because it was hard to shower. Didn't really want to touch them, which I didn't. I didn't want to put soap on it. It was just such a cumbersome, difficult experience. Not only that, but I was also very delirious and feverish. So it was like I'm showering sorry, my camera cut off, so I'm not exactly sure where it ended. But once they fell off, is what I was saying, it started to itch because your skin is growing back and it's open flesh. It's just like open flesh. So it started to itch and it was quite excruciating. The itching was excruciating, but not the entire time for me. I only had moments of excruciating itching twice, but it was throughout the day, it would just be a nagging itch there. And I was obviously unaware of if I put something on it, like an itching cream or something. I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to feed it. I didn't want to do anything to it. I just let it dry out. And the only thing that worked for me was using jojoba oil. And I would take a shower, clean myself, damp, dry. I have a lot of towels, so every time I touched a towel, I threw it on the ground and bleached it the next day in my washing machine. So I would do that and then take some jojoba oil and just put it on my hands and then put it on the lesions, like that, and then just move my hand, and it really helped because jojoba oil is anti-inflammatory or whatever, and it helped to stop the itching as well. All natural jojoba oil, by the way. And I didn't want to put anything else on it that wasn't natural or, something. I didn't want to do anything like that. And I was cleared. Because I had spoken to the epidemiologist, like I said. So I was cleared on the 15th. By the 15th, you should be fine. And it was. By the 14th, I was pretty much fine. But out of nowhere, on the 13th of August, on the 12th, excuse me. On the 12th of August, I grew one on my thumb, on this thumb. As you can see, you don't really see it because it fell off and went away. It healed pretty much. But I grew one on my thumb. And I thought I was done. But another one grew. And this is the end of week 2, basically. And I didn't know what to think. I felt kind of defeated because I already felt like I went through all of that. And it's now I got one on my thumb. And it's that's a crazy place because now people could really see that. And for whatever reason, the one on my thumb grew. And then just like the one on my inner finger, by the way, I want to say the one on my inner finger took 2 days and it fell off. But the one on my thumb, it was there. And then it kind of dried up within 2 days. I was able to flick it off and there was nothing there but skin. And I was like, what the heck? But I was wearing a Band-Aid and then a glove because now, I did that job. So I was able to get some food in my house because I had no food. After spending all this money on my mother, whatever. So I ain't had no food, so I had to get food. And I was like, I went downstairs to go get my food in like a hoodie sweater, a mask. I mean, I had all this stuff on because I was like, I'm not trying to spread this to nobody. I know that food person probably was like, what are they doing? But Walmart was smart. The guy was like, Walmart doesn't allow us to touch the bags no more, so you got to get it yourself. So he just popped the trunk, and he wasn't even helping me. I was like, all right, cool, I'm fine with that. And I was putting the stuff in my bin, whatever, it was cool. And by the 15th, like I said, that lesion on my finger was actually gone. I flicked it off because it was like dry, like a raisin. Now, I didn't have that experience because the inner thighs was moist. But I wondered, like, if they had grown somewhere else, if they would have been as dry, because this one on my thumb was like super, super dry. I was like, I called my mom, like, Mom, I think I should just flick this off because it's not falling off on its own, but it's like, it's so dry. It's like hard. It was like hard. And I literally went to my bathroom, washed my hands, put a glove on, and flicked it off, and it just fell off into the toilet. And I said, flush. And was like, I called my mother, was like, it just fell off. It's like nothing even really there. She was like, okay, cool. I said, great. Don't have a fever. Didn't have any pain. Didn't have nothing wrong. I was just healing up, that healing process. Because this, like I said, open skin now. We got open skin in the thighs, and I couldn't barely walk. Whew. Lord, I had left the house for the first time because I wasn't contagious anymore. I didn't have a fever. You're only contagious if somebody touches your lesion. So I was like, okay, let me leave the house. I left the house, and before I left, I had looked into my kit, my first aid kit, and I had itching cream. I didn't even know it was in there. It had gauze. And I was like, if I'm gonna leave the house and I'm gonna put on these gauze with the itching cream, put them on the lesions, put on shorts, and then put on some sweatpants on top of that. I wanted to be very safe and comfortable, you know what I'm saying? And when I did that, I was like, yo, I can finally walk now. Like, I couldn't walk before because of where it was at. But I was able to walk or whatever like that. Came back home, took them off, took everything off, put that shit in the laundry, like instantly. Took a shower and was like, oh, since that cream worked, I'm gonna use it again. The worst thing I had done. I put that cream on and that shit started burning like crazy, which I don't understand why, because before I left the house, I took a shower, put the cream on, put the gauze on. I did the same exact thing to go to sleep, and it started burning like you wouldn't believe. I was like, Jesus, what did I do? And I got up, I just like ran out of bed, jumped in the shower, and took the ice cold water and just, because I have like a shower thing, like a handle, and put it right on the lesions. And that ice cold water soothed it, it calmed me down. I said, what happened? I just stuck to what I knew, okay? Stick to what you know. Cleaned the area and put that jojoba oil back on and got my ass in that bed. I said, I'm being Mr. Founded in the Kid. No. So I would not recommend putting no creams on it. I wouldn't recommend that. I don't know what works for you, but that did not work for me. Got back in the bed, was fine, was able to go to sleep. After like another week, everything was pretty much healed up. And like I said, I had already stopped the fever, already stopped the pain, already stopped the throbbing. That had already stopped week 2, like the end of week 2, starting of week 3. And so by the end of week 3, everything was healing up. And I was able to walk freely again, take a shower without uncomfortability and things like that. And now, you know, they were big, messy looking, and then it just kind of shrinks into just like, you see, just like really nothing. And then I was comfortable again. And you kind of just forgot that you even had it in the first place. Now, the epidemiologists, the two of them, 2 different ones, said to me that they're not exactly sure on how long you're immune to it after you've had it, but they were like, just give it 6 months to a year, and that's how long your immunity period. Like, we don't really know yet, but let's just go with that, you know, based on the research that we do have. So I can't say with full confidence that you're completely immune from it, like maybe like chickenpox, but there is an immunity period. I just wanted to be clear that the propaganda around it, propaganda manipulating the audience, if we know that people will be fearful and have issues if you're calling it a gay disease or a man-to-man disease or like promoting that as the forefront, then people will start to be confused because unfortunately not everybody is as smart as maybe they should be, and people will just start to believe anything, and they'll be like, oh, I can't get it. It's not possible. It's not. And doing that, you can manipulate an audience. It's propaganda. So I just want to be clear that this is not a gay disease. This is not a man-to-man disease. And even though the reports, to be clear, the reported cases have been men to men, there have been so many unreported cases. In fact, I know quite a few of them, women who've not reported them. I myself, even though I reported mine and gave them my information, they took my information, so it's reported. I didn't go get a diagnosis, so that is a part of the report. Just because there have not been reported cases of people who aren't having sex with men doesn't mean that that did not happen or cannot happen. So I just want to be clear that there's a lot of propaganda around this. It's not hard to go to the cdc.gov, to go to your local epidemiologist, to pay attention to your health centers because they're doing a lot more vaccines and things like that. It's not hard to pay attention to those things to get the information that you need. And I thought it was important for me to share my story with you so that you have a face to put to this, and a story, just a story, to see how it went, to see how it goes, to see how you may feel or may not feel, just so that you can have someone to go, okay, this was the experience. Again, I had a mild case, thank you, Jesus, because it wasn't excruciating. It wasn't all over my face. It wasn't on my penis, on my ass, on my, something like that. It was like very isolated to like that area, and then just one really on my thumb because this one fell off. So go to TheBLACKMedia.org, read the article and share it, share my experience so that people can understand what it is. And just be careful, According to the epidemiologist before I go, if you have a fever, you can pass it. But once your fever breaks, you're not contagious unless they're touching the lesions. If you have lesions that are exposed, you want to isolate. You don't want to be outside. You don't want to be spreading this thing. Because even though monkeypox is not deadly, it is a very uncomfortable disease. It's a very uncomfortable thing. And you just don't want to be passing and spreading this around, okay? So that is my story. And one more time, if you feel convicted to do so, if you would like to donate to me so that I can get back on my feet and get back out here, you can donate right here to my Cash App. Make sure you put donate in the subject so that I know where it's coming from. And thank you. Thank you for listening to my story. And hopefully this provided some type of insight and calm that fear-mongering that goes on within the media. I'm proud to say that my company, TheBLACKMedia, did not do any of that, and we made sure that people got the information and not misinformation, and I'll continue to do so. Thank you for listening to my story. I have one more episode after this, and I think it's going to be a great one, and I can't wait to share that with you. But this is episode 9, and it's one more episode this season, episode 10, which will be coming out within a few weeks, and I'm back, y'all. I'm back, and hopefully people see this and they don't do me dirty like some people have, as if I'm some viral plague or something and you can't do a photo shoot with me anymore or something crazy, stupid like that. Hopefully you have enough common sense to know better. I'm Tahir Coleman Register, and if you don't know who I am the owner of TheBLACKMedia, and thank you for watching this. Visit TheBLACKMedia.org to learn more about my experience with the monkeypox. Contact your local health provider for more information about vaccines and how to stay protected. Visit the cdc.gov to learn more.